From downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Good evening, Middle Georgia. I'm Amanda Peralta.
And I'm Greg Lloyd. Amanda and I thank you for watching WGXA News at 5:30. Tonight, the Crisp County Sheriff's Office is asking to be uplifted in prayer today as they mourn the loss of one of their own.
We know now that 26-year-old Ty Brown has passed the line of duty after being shot by a suspect early this morning. Our Raina Plunkett details what we know so far about the fatal traffic stop and the ongoing GBI investigation.
It was a morning full of sadness for the Crisp County Sheriff's Office.
Guy out there just trying to do his job, and you got some lowlife, for lack of a better word, just wants to take a life for really no good reason other than he wanted to ride.
Around 3:40 a.m. Wednesday, Deputy Ty Brown stopped a vehicle around the 1300 block of Highway 280 West in Cordele. After running the plates and realizing the car came up as stolen with 25-year-old wanted burglary suspect Krishan Cross behind the wheel, that's when things escalated. According to the Crisp County Sheriff's Office, moments later, Cross shot the deputy after stealing the deputy's patrol car. That's when Monroe County Sheriff Brad Freeman said his deputies went on a multi-county high-speed chase.
We pursued him from Zebulon Road almost to the, just inside of Monroe County, where the deputies performed a pit maneuver on the driver, our deputies, and some other law enforcement officers that were in pursuit. Ordered the driver out at gunpoint. He came out of the car. He was unarmed. When they approached him to try to take him into custody, he did try to fight. It was a very short scuffle, and he was taken into custody.
Now with the fallen deputy being escorted to a funeral home and the suspect apprehended behind Crisp County bars, Freeman says a new reality has set in.
If somebody was going to catch him, I was glad it was us, and I just really feel for the sheriff's office down in Crisp County. It's awful to lose a deputy.
Reporting in Crisp County, Raina Plunkett, WGXA News.
Devastating news right there. And Warner Robins police are investigating a murder that happened overnight. Deputies were called to the intersection of Stevens Street and Sherry Drive just before 11 last night. That's where they found 19-year-old Orman Humphrey of Macon face down with a gunshot wound. Humphrey was later pronounced dead at the hospital, and so far, deputies say they believe the suspect shot him from inside a vehicle while he was walking down the street. If you know anything about this case, call the Warner Robins Police Department or Macon Regional Crime Stoppers.
You know, it's been a bloody week across the country as multiple mass shootings mar what should have been a festive and patriotic holiday week.
Even by recent standards, the rise in violence has been alarming. Caroline Shively has more from Washington.
Fireworks litter a D.C. street on the night of the 4th, along with bullet and shell casings, after shots rang out from a dark SUV, turning the holiday into horror.
It stopped and it fired shots in the direction of some of our residents that were outside just celebrating the 4th of July.
No one was killed, but 9 victims were hit, including a child just 9 years old, but the shooter got away. Other shootings this week killed a Missouri woman and her 2 children.
It was a fight over a car that escalated in this driveway, leading to 4 shots.
And in Fort Worth, Texas, where 11 were shot, killing 3.
It's stressful for all of us. It's stressful for the entire city of Fort Worth. It's stressful for the nation. This is going on all over. And quite frankly, we're all tired of it.
This bloody week started with a Baltimore block party that was shot up on Sunday, where 28 were injured, killing 2. And Monday night in Philadelphia, police say a person in body armor sprayed a street with a hail of gunfire, killing 5 people ages 15 to 59. They've charged the suspect with more than 30 counts.
This was random. This was someone who set out to kill strangers, which of course has become way too common in the United States.
All this comes as the Chicago suburb of Highland Park remembered the 7 victims gunned down at their 4th of July parade last year.
It was important for us to say that evil doesn't win, and this is our parade route, and this is our community that we are taking back.
President Biden is calling this a wave of tragic and senseless shootings, and once again calling on Congress to tighten gun laws. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
UPS and Teamsters negotiating a new bargaining agreement casts accusations with a potential strike looming. Teamsters say UPS negotiators walked away from the table early this morning. UPS says that's not true and accuses the union of refusing to negotiate. The shipping giant believes the finish line is in sight. Teamsters says UPS's best offer doesn't address workers' needs. The contract expires at the end of the month. A work stoppage could have dire consequences on the economy.
Well, tonight, an astonishing ruling from the federal judge against several top officials in the Biden administration, as well as government agencies.
They're no longer allowed to communicate with social media companies at all unless there is criminal or national security reason to do so.
Christine Frizzell explains the ins and outs of the case and the fallout.
It was a stunning revelation last summer.
The FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert.
From Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg to Twitter's former head of trust and safety, laying out multiple examples of back-channel communications between the federal government and big tech in regards to a story about Hunter Biden's laptop and information about the COVID-19 pandemic, which sometimes led to posts being taken down or restricted. Louisiana's Attorney General Jeff Landry, along with former Attorney General Eric Schmidt of Missouri, now a U.S. Senator, filed a lawsuit against the Biden administration for violating the First Amendment.
What the government can do is, this administration can stand up there with the press secretary and say, look, we believe X, Y, and Z. What they can't do then is threaten and coerce social media companies to take down differing points of view. Dissent. That's what they did here.
A federal judge agreeing, now barring multiple federal agencies and several government officials from engaging in any communication of any kind with social media companies. In his ruling this week, writing that during the COVID-19 pandemic, a period characterized by widespread doubt and uncertainty, the U.S. government seems to have assumed a role similar to an Orwellian ministry of truth. That widespread doubt and uncertainty, though, a top reason why the Biden administration says it got involved to provide information to these social media companies and to protect public health at a time misinformation about COVID-19 was spreading faster than the virus itself.
If they find themselves infected with a coronavirus using Miracle Mineral Solution.
Social media platforms rife with people trying to make money off fake COVID cures, which could harm people. Top health officials arguing it was their job to protect them. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell.
Well, storms firing through the mid-state this Wednesday evening with heavy downpours and lightning. It's not good news.
No, it's not. And Chief Meteorologist Ryan Miranda says the atmosphere is incredibly juicy for these storms. And Ryan,
it's a very Ryan Miranda.
You wrote that, and I want to know what a juicy atmosphere is, I guess, right?
Please give us details.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. It is a legit thing that meteorologists say when the energy is incredibly juicy, there's just so much energy in the atmosphere and a lot of moisture, and that's firing up kind of this line of storms right now that's stretching across Washington County all the way down just in southern portions of Crawford County. So this is moving to the southeast. Frequent lightning right now over Sandersville, heavy downpours moving through Wilkinson and Twiggs County. This did move through Macon-Bibb, but heading towards Warner Robins, you could get a bit of a downpour here over the next 15 or 20 minutes, and this will kind of continue to slide down to the south and east, heading along I-16 towards Dublin here as this kind of continues to hold through, but it is losing a lot of its energy the further it goes down. So here's that incredibly juicy atmosphere. Dew points right now in the mid-70s. That's the tropical air mass. So when we get the downpours, they can really drop a lot of rain in a short amount of time. Temperature-wise, rain cooled 75 degrees right now in Macon, but feeling like summer, 90 right now in Jackson and 89 in Charlotte. But of course, it's all about the feels like temperature. I'll talk more about that in your full forecast. Greg.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And I'm excited because one of my favorite friends named Sky is watching us behind the scenes tonight. Now is a great time to download the WGXA weather app. Ryan is back in less than 20 minutes with your 10-day forecast. An early morning distress call is prompting one mid-state mother and son to ring the alarm.
They say a local nursing home is overdue for an overhaul from the state after calls for help when unanswered incorrect medication was given out and an absent nursing home staff ignored them.
Irina Plunkett investigates the allegations and takes a look into these claims.
Lord, please have mercy on me, Lord. You know somebody hear me, Lord. Lord, you help me, Father. Father God, I'm your child, Lord.
That was the plea of 61-year-old Lorraine Lester while inside of Pinewood Manor Nursing Home.
For 3 hours, she says those pleas fell on deaf ears because no employee came to assist her after she wet herself and fell off the bed.
So I started screaming and calling for help, and I couldn't get no help. So I was trying to get up to get out the position, and nobody still called.
It was at that point, Lorraine says, she called her children and 911 to see if any staff was at the nursing station. But the grave situation only got worse.
My roommate, she was a hospice patient, and she even tried to get up and help me. She billed all over the place trying to get me help me, and she couldn't help herself. We were signed by the janitor calling for help and found us laying side bed, crossways bed.
At first, son Gregory Collins says he gave the nursing home the benefit of the doubt until something told him to make a beeline to his mom.
The aide came to the front door with their shoes off, wiping their face as if they had been sleeping.
A disturbing red flag that Collins and Lester said spiked some concerns.
I went down and heard multiple individuals screaming for help with their call lights on. But on this particular night, there were 2 people up screaming for help. I could hear them from the front door.
They were giving wrong medication all the time, and I know my medication, and I tell them that I don't take this kind of medicine. This is the wrong medication, and she's just gonna force me to take the medication.
After hearing that, Collins pulled his mother from the home.
My worst fear is for the people who don't have that sanity, right? What about the people who don't have cell phones that could call their loved ones in the middle of the night?
So I pulled the incident report. In it, deputies described one employee who stated she left the nursing home from 2 a.m. to 4 p.m., a 14-hour absence. It went on to say the rest of the staff was there all night. But if the staff was there, why did no one answer Miss Lorraine's calls for help? I took that discrepancy to Vice President and Executive Director of Taylor Regional Hospital to see what they have to say about their nursing home. This was the hospital's response.
Pinewood Manor Nursing and Rehabilitation Center has always been staffed with the appropriate number of nurses, CNAs, and orderlies as required by state and federal regulations. At no time has the facility or patients been left unattended. We fully respect the patients and families' rights at all times, including the ability to leave the facility at will. Due to HIPAA regulations, we are unable to comment on a specific patient's treatment at this time.
I then took that response back to the family.
I'm going to hand this to you and you can press play. It was like 14 hours discrepancy. I brought it up to Miss Dawn and she said, our CNNs are always on staff.
No, she wasn't.
You said she's lying.
She lying. She wasn't there.
And she
and when I was calling for help, she wasn't there.
Now, this story is ongoing, and in the coming weeks, Arena will be checking with the state to find out if they have any recorded violations of mistreatment against Taylor Regional Hospital or its nursing home. Stick with WGXA as this story develops.
Well, new tonight, one Warner Robins hero is calling it a career after 30 years.
Warner Robins Fire Chief Ross Moulton has told WGXA News he plans to retire this month. He sat down with our very own Carlos Stevens to talk about that decision.
It's just time.
Time to call it a career after more than 30 years with the Warner Robins Fire Department. Chief Ross Moulton says he enjoyed serving his community and there was only one focus when he took over.
I hope I've created a culture of care and love for others.
A love that he says is now time for other firemen to carry on. But why did he choose to stick with Warner Robins for 30 plus years?
We have a tradition to stay together, to serve one another, And so I never had a desire really to go anywhere else.
That's because Warner Robins has one of the best fire departments with top-tier training, according to Moten. He says that training he used during his first fire is a moment that will live with him in retirement.
We just killed this fire basically. I mean, we knocked it down, went inside, knocked it down. It took about 10 minutes to get the fire under control, and it was just, it was a great feeling, though, that you save people's property and, search for people, and nobody was there.
Moten says while he'll miss serving his community and working with a great group of people, he's ready to enjoy the people who made it possible to serve for years.
Enjoy the family. I owe them so much. They've given so much.
Middle Georgia State University is looking to take its aviation program to new heights and are getting help making sure the next generation of flyers are ready for whatever the industry needs. This evening, we're learning about how the university hopes it will lead to more growth in aviation. Middle Georgia State recently received a $50,000 grant from Gulfstream Aerospace. The Chair of Aviation Maintenance and Structural Technology Department, Martin Kihei, says the university has 2 aircraft maintenance programs that prepare students with skills that allow them to work in the aviation industry, and the grant will help make those programs successful.
The equipment that we got will help us to teach one facet of aircraft maintenance, which is the repair of composite structures, so fiberglass, carbon fiber, which is being used more and more in the aviation industry as a structural material. So we definitely want to improve and develop how we teach that and how we prepare our students.
The grant will serve as a significant boost to MGSU's efforts to provide state-of-the-art equipment for its students that will enhance their educational experience. Kihei says the university's goal as the program continues to grow is to have every student who goes through the aircraft maintenance program to be airframe and power plant certified by graduation.
Students and over the last 5 years or so, we've grown to about 130 to 140. So tremendous growth. So having that grant and being able to get this additional equipment allows us to be more effective in giving them the exposure to composite repair.
Students do not currently pay tool fees, and the grant will assist the university in continuing to cover those costs and keep tuition down. Reporting in Eastman, Amanda Peralta, WGXA News.
Another hot and humid July day, and in your midweek headlines, we're really into that summertime pattern, a sign of the times. It's going to be hot with temps in the low 90s for really the next 7 days. It's going to be muggy and humid, dew points above 70 degrees. That is that tropical air mass, and it also means that we do have a chance for scattered thunderstorms really each and every afternoon going forward. Really a sign of the times with just a lot of that heat. And speaking of storms, we still have some out there right now. We've got this line that's moving kind of areas Macon, a little bit further to the south and over to the east. So a pretty good downpour still coming over Washington County with some frequent lightning strikes in some areas of southern Wilkinson and Twiggs County. And my graphics just pushed over me. Those will be heading more towards the south and east. So looking out over downtown Macon right now, it did rain here, but now those are pushing off further to the south towards Dublin over the next half hour or so. But they will begin to kind of rain themselves out. So not everyone to the south and east will see that line of storms. Looking out with our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network, a rain-cooled 75 degrees right now. If you're lucky enough to get a downpour over you that really just kind of gets rid of that heat. Currently feels like 82 right now in Warner Robins, but still feels like 98 right now in Dublin and 94 in Americus. So it's really still all about the feels like temperature and that heat index. So if you're lucky enough to get one of those downpours, it'll be much cooler. Otherwise, in the peak heating of the afternoon, still feeling like the upper 90s and into the triple digits over the next 5 days. So really still very warm, and satellite and radar showing we've got a lot of these pop-up showers and storms across the southeast. Not everyone is getting hit with the rain, but that's really going to be the pattern really for the next maybe several months as well. The rest of tonight, we still could have some lingering thunderstorms around 72 degrees. We'll kind of lose the afternoon heating of the day, so the thunderstorms will quiet down the later into the evening that we go. And planning out your day tomorrow, grab the sunglasses. It's going to be a nice but warm day, 73 degrees at 7 o'clock. already into the low 90s just after lunchtime at 1, going for a high of 94 degrees. But again, when you factor in that humidity, it'll feel closer to 100 for tomorrow. So in your 10-day forecast for your Thursday, a high of 94 degrees with some afternoon storms around. Really, no day looks to be a washout, but there will be some scattered thunderstorms around on the radar. Definitely a good idea to download the WGXA Skywatch weather app so that you can keep track on the radar if any are headed your way. For the end of your work week, still 94 degrees with some afternoon PM storms. Once again, heading into the weekend, we really copy-paste the forecast. 94 degrees for the high both day. Feeling like the triple digits still, though, so it is going to be rather hot in the heat of the afternoon. As we head into the next work week, we've really got that summertime pattern going on. Temps in the low 90s, heat index values in the upper 90s, near 100, with scattered thunderstorms every afternoon. So lastly, here's your Harrison's Body Shop Fish and Game forecast. Peaks at 5:20 a.m. and 5:20 p.m. Amanda?
Well, take a look at this unusual ending to Atlanta's annual July 4th Peachtree Road Race. This is the lead runner in the women's elite division, veering off course right before the finish line. She's an Ethiopian runner, Senbir Teferi, who won the Peachtree Road Race last year and was favored for a repeat. But here she is appearing to follow a police motorcycle off the course. That left time for two other runners to run past her for a clear path to victory, and Teferi scrambling to correct course for a third-place finish. The mistake turned her $10,000 prize into just $3,000. But let's look at the silver lining. She is $3,000 richer now.
That's true, but that does suck, though.
She even got off course and still made third place. I said
But
earlier,
to be
I'd be
honest,
last place.
To be fair, I think it's a very reasonable mistake to make. I would follow the police too.
I would
I'd be like, where are we going?
It was confusing. That guy was making weird motions here. We're being like, and you're tired.
That's
and
extra
just trying to
confusing.
finish.
He was trying to help her, but to me too, I would be like, is he telling me to go that way instead of
Yeah.
this way? I don't know.
Just a lot of confusingness.
I do feel bad
unfortunate.
for her though. I mean, 3,000, 10,000.
But still, what a runner she is. She got back on course, and she did get that 3,000, so we're trying to be all sunshiny on a stormy afternoon, aren't we?
Yeah, best of luck to her next year.
Well, that's going to do it for WGXA News at 5:30.
We invite you to join us at 6 on ABC 16.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.